everyone! Tommy Girl here with a Let's Play of Riven, the sequel to Myst. Now, this is the sequel to the smash hit Myst, which came out in 1993. This came out 4 years later and had quite a big budget, a lot of advertising, and did quite well. But it has the reputation of being an extremely difficult, complex game, and that reputation is true. It is a very difficult game, but it is my favorite of the franchise, and I feel it really wraps up the Myst story really nicely. If you watch my Let's Play the first one, or you're familiar with Myst, you know that that ending kind of ends anticlimactically. It just sort of is just like, wander around, I might call you back sometime. I feel like in a way this is sort of Act 2 of the story. So anyway, I will talk a little bit more about the game as we go along, but let's get started. Oh, hi, Atrus.
Thank God you've returned. I need your help.
This place looks familiar. It's the end of the last game. Dunny.
There's a great deal of history that you should know. But I'm afraid that I must continue my writing. Here. Most of what you'll need to know is in there. Keep it well hidden.
Okay, I'll put it in a pocket or something.
For reasons you'll discover, I can't send you to Riven with a way out. But I can give you this. It appears to be a linking book back here to Dunny. But it's actually a one-man prison. You'll need it, I'm afraid, to capture Gan. Once you've found Catherine, signal me, and I'll come with a linking book to bring us back.
Oh, how do I signal you? Atrus? How do I signal you? I kinda wanna know. I guess I'll have to figure it out there, huh?
There's also a chance, if this all goes well, that I might be able to get you back to the place that you came from.
Oh, the linking panel looks very different from previous games. Oh, that's not a good start. We're trapped, no. Hello? Anyone? Oh, I hear somebody. Hello? Could you let us out of this cage here, bud? Oh. Excuse me. Yes, hi. Oh, you don't speak English. No, sorry.
Wisirapo. Umutika bukuanai. Misirap. Mutika bukuan ay.
What?
Bukuan ay. Misirap.
Bukuamai. Bukum.
Bukuan.
No, wait. No, that's mine. Oh, crap. I need that.
Bukuan ay.
He took my book. Whoa. Oh, maybe we can, like, scoot down and grab that book, but I don't know how he just fell over. Hello? We're trapped in this cage here. Oh, something's dragging him away. Something that will help us, maybe? Hello? Hello? Oh gosh. Wait, okay. I need that book, wow, whatever he said. I need that book back, please. Excuse me. Oh, okay, you're letting me out. Good. Whoa, did you just destroy my book? Oh. Wait. No, wait. I need that book. They went somewhere this way. Oh. There's that guy. Okay, let's see if we can figure out where this girl or guy, I'm not sure. They were dressed up. Let's see where this person went. This is a good vantage point. Well, they could have gone that way or into there. There's a really cool gold dome back there. But then there's a... Oh my gosh, we don't know where they went. No, we need that book. They're not in here. Are they down there? Oh my goodness. No idea where this person went. Well, I think they're gone. So that puts us in a bad spot. But running around like a crazy person is probably not going to help too much. Especially if there's any other people around. We don't want to draw too much attention to ourselves. So, I guess we'll go back to where we started. Although we don't want to go back into the cage. I mean, it's jammed, but it makes me very nervous. So, Atrus did not give us that much information. So I think the first thing we should do is what he suggested, which was read his journal, because he said that he'd give us all the information we needed there. So let's do that first. Alright, so here we are at Atrus's journal. I must warn you guys, sometimes there's a glitch where it'll flip 2 pages, and I found no way to fix this glitch. So if you see me kind of flipping around a little bit, I'll try to edit out any of those major problems, but occasionally you'll see me double flip a page, so my apologies for that. See, there's the glitch. I only clicked once. Alright, here we go. We start with the 87610. We don't know what exactly this means, and there'll be number systems all throughout. It kind of looks like a dating system since this is a journal, but certainly it's not a dating system that I'm familiar with. So we don't know for sure. It could be just some kind of other number system, but if I had to guess, I'd say this was a dating system, just by how it's set up. 87610. They held for more than 30 years, but the corrections I made to Riven have finally failed. The island has resumed the familiar pattern of decay that is the hallmark of my father's work. I must now race to implement this new patch before it's too late. I only hope that my revised theories are sound. 87616. Revisions to Riven completed. There are still a number of minor adjustments which need to be made, but the basic corrections have been entered and should be working. Something's not right. I've been monitoring the instruments for several hours now, but have thus far observed no change. It's possible that I've made an error, although I've checked my entry against the pre-notation and can find no discrepancy. I've not had a rest in nearly 3 days, so it may be that I'm just not seeing it. If the fault is with my foundational assumptions, however... Perhaps after a short rest I will see something. 87-6-18. Success! It appears that my repairs have been effective after all. The gateway image has become noticeably clearer, and although it is impossible to know this with absolute certainty, the island seems to have quieted itself. Just a few more weeks of work and I should be free at last to go there myself and attempt to bring Catherine back. The past 8 months have left me little time to think, to devise a strategy for getting her out of there. I've received no sign from her in all that time. I'm afraid that... No, I must assume she is all right, lest my fears undermine my efforts to bring her back. 87-6-19. I did not create the Age of Riven. Unlike my father, I have never presumed to have such power, and yet the future of all those who live there has fallen into my hands. So far, I've managed to read the page before it turns. The island continues to appear stable, and I would like to believe that I have saved a dying world. But the theories of one individual cannot support the lives of real people indefinitely. I must get everyone off of Riven as soon as possible. The problem now is Gen. I'll never be able to rescue Catherine and relocate the islanders if he is still the man he once was. I haven't seen him in over 30 years, but his history forces me to assume that he is still a threat. His myopic mission to restore the Dunny civilization has left too many innocent cultures dying in its wake, and would continue to do so were he to once again be free of the confines of Riven, or the Fifth Age as he coldly titled it. The universe has been safe from his corruptive influence for the last 33 years because no one has been able to leave that age, the last linking book out of Riven having been lost in the Starfisher upon my return to Myst. That was my intention, to maroon my father on Riven by removing all existing links to other worlds. And since the art of constructing books had long been lost with the fall of the Dunny, he would be trapped there for the remainder of his lifetime, and effectively segregated from the countless other worlds that he would have invaded. In effect, that is what we achieved. But the way it fell, however, was no one's ideal. Though the sting of the incident has gradually faded from my memory, the deep pain of the responsibility for what actually came to be has never left me. At the time it all seemed so clear. Gen's destructive path could not be allowed to continue. But it was never my choice that the innocent inhabitants of Riven, who had already suffered so much, would be the ones to pay for it. Enough. To dwell in the past is to die in the present. The situation is not the same as it was then. The knowledge I've acquired in the years since that time has yet to be applied to this problem. 87-6-20. I think I have the solution. Why it did not occur to me sooner, I do not know, unless the idea of it had been pushed out with the thought of my sons. A prison book. Many years ago, during a hunting expedition through the ruins of Dunny, I chanced upon a formula for a most unusual type of book. Unfortunately, due to the fact that my father was then in the habit of confiscating my discoveries, I was forced to leave it behind. Years later, however, as part of my effort to protect the vulnerable worlds linked to the books in my library, I was pleased to find that I could still recall most of the formula, and with a little experimentation quickly succeeded in creating one of these devices myself. The procedure is actually quite simple. By altering key lines of text but slightly, a normal linking book's connection can be partially severed, such that anyone who attempts to use the book will be permanently trapped in the dark void of the link. That is, unless someone else uses the book, at which point that person would become trapped and the first person displaced back into the world. The technique can be applied to books that have already been written, changes to the original text being so slight that anyone who is unfamiliar with the code will be unable to detect them. If indeed my father has not changed, what better bait could there be than a book that appeared to be a link back here to Dunny? 8772. Trouble. My nightly analysis of the island's condition has revealed that the tremors have begun again. The pattern, however, is new. The disturbances are a result of the changes I have made. This did not, at first, concern me. However, tremors of this type were one of the possible side effects that I had anticipated during this initial phase of the island's readjustment. Still, in order to verify my assumptions, I decided to calculate again, incorporating the new data. The results were not what I expected. The damage to the understructure is more extensive than I'd realized. I can no longer go to Riven as planned. Catherine, forgive me. 8773. I must act while I still have the time. The signs are barely visible, but there's no question that the island's deterioration is accelerating. Total collapse is imminent unless I can keep ahead, and that is becoming increasingly difficult to do. 8775. With every passing moment, I gain a clearer picture of the incredible chaos that my father's economy of words has yielded, but it is a dismaying process. The complexity of the problem is overwhelming. There is no end to this. The last few days have all but convinced me that the collapse of Riven is inevitable, and that, at best, I can only strive to delay it now, and hope that at some point the island will become stable enough to risk a rescue attempt. 8777. I think I've come up with a way to subdue the tremors. It will require my exclusive attention for at least a month or two, so it may be necessary to discontinue these journal entries for a while. 87-7-13. Something truly miraculous has happened. Beyond all conceivable probability, someone has finally found my lost Myst linking book and has freed me from this prison. I immediately realized this could be the solution to my dilemma, and I believe my mysterious benefactor is willing to assist me. I'm still not sure it can work. The logistics of such a scheme are formidable, but the mere fact that it may now be possible for me to continue my repairs to Riven, and yet proceed with my original intent to find Catherine, has given me renewed hope. 87-7-16. The last few days have left me little time to work out the remaining problems with sending someone else to Riven. It did occur to me, however, that if a way could be found to signal me once Gen had been captured, it would no longer be necessary to take a real linking book to Riven and risk the possibility of inadvertently releasing Gen. The deteriorated state of the gateway image makes the use of a visual signal impossible, but the picture remains a reliable indicator of Riven's condition nonetheless. By measuring and interpreting variations in the noise patterns, I am still able to observe basic changes that occur in the age, even though I cannot see them. The problem is that my instruments can only detect changes that occur on a fundamental level, and it seems unlikely that an individual could affect such an elementary change from within an age. The idea may be foolish. Still, there is a known weakness that may be worth investigating, an anomaly that appears as a rift between two separate systems, the star fissure. But how, or even if, this fact could be exploited, I cannot say. Sending someone to Riven also means that once I received the signal that they were ready to return, I would have to leave my writing in order to take a real linking book there myself. However, provided my father was safely out of the way, this should take very little time. After that, assuming the island does not incur much damage in my absence, it should then be a relatively simple matter to hold it together long enough for Catherine to return to Riven and evacuate the remaining islanders. Predetermining a signal without knowing the topography of the land may prove to be impossible, but I'm afraid there can only be one answer to the question of whether or not I should send my friend to Riven with a way out. The potential for failure will be greatly diminished if the prison book is all that is taken there. I'm sure my father is expecting me to bring a linking book to Riven. May he not be disappointed. Alright, and that is the end of Atrus's journal. Alright, so we learned quite a bit from reading that journal, quite a bit that's very important to figure out what we need to do. So let's go over some of those, some of the highlights of that now. We did learn who Gen was. Gen was discussed very briefly during the the beginning when we were talking to Atrus, but we did not know much about him. We learned a little bit more from the journal. We learned that Gen is in fact Atrus's father. We learned that Atrus trapped him here a little over 30 years ago because he was a threat, because he was destructive, he was destroying cultures, all in the name of restoring the Dunny civilization. Now, Atrus doesn't go into great detail about this, just basically explains that Gen is a threat and is something that he was so worried about that he trapped him here in Riven with no way out. Alright, also from the journal, we learned that Riven is falling apart, which is very unfortunate because we happen to be here. The whole reason that Atrus couldn't come and do this himself was because he has to keep writing to keep the age as stable as he can, to keep it from falling apart. It sounds like if he stops writing, the age will pretty much deteriorate. That also explains why the linking panel we saw at the beginning of this game was very different from the linking panels we saw in Myst. And they do explain that you can't see the age as well because of all the problems in the age. It is starting to fall apart, which is why it looked the way it did. About the signal that we're supposed to somehow do when we're finished here. The only real information that Atrus gave us was that it was supposed to be something rather large, and he did mention something about a starfisher, but very little else, and we don't really know what that does currently. Also, about somehow saving the inhabitants of Riven, the journal did say that once we find Catherine, she should be able to evacuate the islanders. So it sounds like that's one last thing that we'll have to do. Alright, so that covers the basics of the journal, and from there, what do we do now that we're here? We had our prison book stolen, and we came here with little to nothing else. The only other thing we came here with, we already read, we got the information we need, and we can go back at any time for that. So, from the information we've gathered, we have two main goals currently, and things we're going to try to do as we go through this game. First of all, we need to find that prison book that was stolen from us. If we run into Gen, we have no way to trap him. It's not like we came here with a weapon or anything. And we need to find and rescue, possibly. We don't know the circumstances, but we do, at the very least, need to find Catherine. That's very important, and maybe she can tell us more about what we need to do. We also need to find Gen at some point, but I don't think we want to find Gen before we find the prison book. So the two main goals I'm going to be discussing as we explore the Age of Riven here are the two that I mentioned. Find prison book and find Catherine. And I'm going to be trying to what our goals are, so we're not doing as much aimless wandering. There's a little bit of that in this game, but we definitely want to keep in mind what our goals are throughout this game. And now, this will be it for this episode. We covered the journals, we covered the intro, we have the whole plot set up. In the next video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start exploring the areas, trying to maybe find that prison book, find Catherine, and just going to be trying to figure out what our surroundings are like. It certainly is very beautiful, and while I've been talking, I have been clicking around to give you guys a little taste of what we're going to be exploring. But put you guys back on this bridge, and we will explore the Age of Riven in the next video.